Hello, hello. Happy Monday.
Hello, happy Monday.
I don't want to confuse anybody, but our typical blonde has abandoned us for middle school orientation. So Kristen Rabell is out at school today, but Sky Mays from Rabell Realty Group is sitting in for her. Kind of as a last minute emergency favor request. I had to beg this woman to come do this with me, so please be gentle and leave her lots of love in the comments section. Our unofficial mayor of Gainesville, Patrick Dodds, who works with United Way, has been scheduled to come on for a little over a month, but unfortunately his 3-year-old has been at school the last week.
3-year-olds will do that to you.
Yeah, and at school he came down with something, so he couldn't be on. So we still love you, Patrick, and we'll get you back on. But we're still going to carry on and talk about pretty much the same stuff we had discussed, which was all things Gainesville, what we love. And thank you very much for taking my call this morning and listening to my begs and pleads.
It was too early.
And cries. Yes, I got you early. I knew it. Anyway, so no, I appreciate Sky coming on, and we appreciate all your comments and feedbacks. But we're going to talk about Gainesville today. And yes, there's there's our guest speaker. Thank you, Tabitha, for making that on the fly. But yeah, kids are so unpredictable. You never know. I actually have my 3-year-old over here on the little couch, hanging out, little Sebastian. So
I can't
hopefully
believe he's just sleeping there.
Oh, shh. It's like Beetlejuice. Don't say his name 3 times. But yeah, so he's in the studio, hanging out. He's sleeping on the couch for now. But if he cries or anything and we have to go to an emergency break, that's all that is. So kids, you know, what do you do?
At least you didn't have to pull him out of school.
That's true. His school starts on Wednesday. Can't wait. So excited. So we will start this Monday like we do every Monday with the Monday Market Moment.
All right.
All right. So, Sky, it is kind of nice because Kristen and I, while we do sell some real estate, it's only to people we know really well.
That's true.
So, Sky is an active live realtor out in the trenches.
In the wild.
In the wild. It is really wild right now. Selling real estate. So it'll be nice to have your perspective. So every Monday, I know you watch the podcast, but this is just a recap for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Every Monday, we like to look at the numbers for some of our areas and sort of see what the market is doing. And so basically from August 19th to 15th, we had 67 new listings in Alachua County.
Nice.
112 price decreases.
Wow.
78 sold. 26 back on the market with 6 price increases, oddly enough. So what are you seeing when you're out there with buyers? Are they feeling this? Because I do see inventory is coming back on, but it's definitely
I think we have a lot of people. I think we have a lot of people still waiting because a lot of people think that the market is going to fall out and there's going to be a lot of easy pickings. So people are just not wanting to spend their money. I think that they're still unsure, and sellers are still thinking that it's a raging seller's market. So we're kind of shifting as the market does.
I think we're definitely moving into a transitional period. We had a top producer call. That was last Wednesday. So yeah, we haven't done the podcast since then. I just want to make sure I'm not repeating myself, but we had the top producer call last Wednesday, and what we were talking about was one of the very prestigious real estate attorneys in town says that he always looks at July 31st every year and kind of gauges the rest of the year on that from his perspective. He's been doing it forever. The last couple of years, he was doing insane amounts of closings, 15, 16, 17 closings all on July 31st. He said this year, it was about 7. He said, not a bad number. That's still a lot of closings. Definitely more than years past where it was, 1 or 0. So still had a healthy number, but it was, he said he was feeling like we were probably going to do like a little bit of a rewind or a reset. I feel like everybody loves the term to reset.
Yes, that's true.
The market.
Well, the market's continually resetting itself, so.
It is, and consumer confidence is kind of funny, and I always tell sellers when they're coming on the market, it's not a bad time to sell, but anytime you're in an election year, and we are in an election year, it's midterm elections, buyers pull back a little bit. And so we've had a lot going on.
Also, the price of the house really matters.
Yes.
I feel like anything 250 or below, even if it's a handyman special, they're just flying off.
I think
still in a multiple offer situation in some of those.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about price, and I think it's interesting that we're seeing more price decreases than listings come on the market. So I think that's very telling of what we're seeing.
Well, I mean, I feel like sellers are chasing the market a little bit.
I do. I know what you're talking about. I actually have a listing like that myself where we were waiting to come on because they were having some stuff done around the house. It's a beautiful house, but they wanted to start at the highest point. Yeah. And now we've been chasing. It does seem like we've caught it. We've had to reduce a little more than we were hoping, but that's why it's so important to hire a skilled agent from Rabell Realty Group that can help you list your house so that you're not chasing the market as it does transition.
Right. People who have brokers that are really in the know, that are on these important top producing phone calls with all the other brokers in town and kind of giving us the lay of the land. Also, I think it's really important if you're going to list your house these days to, you can't just list it whatever you have. You need to do stuff. You need to be having it cleaned, maybe painted. What I always do is I walk through the house with my customers and tell them just little things that I think need to be done.
Staging and styling advice.
Yeah, I don't love to spend a whole ton of money getting a house onto the market because we're not in that kind of market yet still, but you do have to do stuff.
I often find people have enough things lying around that all you have to do is rearrange them slightly, and then it helps. Declutter for sure.
Declutter and get the stuff. Get your personals out of there.
Make it feel more.
If you want to leave the picture of your dog, leave the picture of your dog.
I don't really care. I'm just going to assume that the dog lays on the furniture and stuff. But, all right, let's see what Marion. I have this newfound love for Marion and Hillsborough I grew up in, so I can't really count them. But I don't know. When I first got into real estate, I had no love for Marion County. It felt like a million miles away.
It's beautiful. I mean,
they
rolling hills
have really impressed me with their pro-growth mindset. They have a very business-orientated, I'm not moving to Ocala. People don't start that rumor. But I really love what they're doing with their city, and they're doing things that I wish we would do in Gainesville. Although I think Gainesville is one of the most beautiful places in terms of things that we have here, but I wish we were more
have you ever been to the
business-friendly.
World Equestrian Center?
I have not been to. We like to call it WEC now.
Yeah, if you've been to, if you've never, I used to be a horse person. Showed horses all the way up through senior year in high school. And that is where they need to hold the next Olympics. It is
really
amazing, and you should make a date night of it because you can go, if you're into it, you can go see a rodeo or whatever.
I think it would be a fun experience.
And then they have awesome restaurants and great shopping and a beautiful 5-star hotel. I mean, when you go there, you're not in the typical Ocala.
But I do think what they've done is really nice. So let's see. They've got 218 new listings that have come on the 19th through the 15th with 267 price decreases. So it's definitely coming. I don't know if my sister's watching. My sister Hannah is down in the Tampa Bay area, so we'll do Hillsborough next. And she sends me, she and her husband send me all sorts of things from their MLS down there they had an auction hit the market, and then lots of price decreases. So she's my eyes down there in Tampa. But Hillsborough, 598 new listings, 821 price decreases. And if you guys are into it, you can drop it in the comments, but we could do a deep dive into what type of properties are seeing these price reductions, and we could start with Gainesville, Marion, and Hillsborough and kind of see, because I'm definitely curious in Hillsborough what we're seeing. Food is delicious at WEC, or Sebastian woke up, or I'll grab you as soon as we go to break, kid. But yeah, so Hillsborough is definitely, they're experiencing kind of the same thing. I'm betting it's a lot of the properties that were
you guys have amazing beaches down there.
Yeah.
Clear water. I mean, the Gulf is...
It's beautiful. I know we're going to talk about Indian Rocks here in a little bit, but we're going to get to the beaches.
Well, also, if you had regrets that you didn't buy before the prices shot up, I think this is a great time to catch that wave before it takes off again.
It is. And I think it's interesting to see. I mean, are these overcorrections from people who are, again, chasing the market and it's just not going to increase? Because so much of the data is saying that it will never be cheaper than it is now to buy a home in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're progressing. Dave Ramsey did say that.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of his talks where he does that. And I tend to agree. I just don't think we're going to see the price jumps like we've seen over the last couple of years, which frankly, as somebody that went through 2008 with everybody, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and really the very beginning of 12, that's scary, but I'm glad that we're not expecting prices to drop that dramatically. It's definitely a different slowdown, but as this title attorney that I mentioned earlier was saying, it's like we've sprinted the last 3 years, so it's kind of refreshing to have a little bit of a break from all of that, and we're basically rewinding and expecting a fall sales season that's more similar to 2017, 18, 19, which was a more normal pace. You're talking about appreciation in price of maybe like 2 to 4%, depending on the area, not these dramatic, 13 to 25% jumps that we were seeing over a year.
Yeah, if you call on a Tuesday and you want to see a house on a Sunday, it might be there still.
There's not 47 offers, right?
Right.
Yeah, that stuff is wild. But so we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back to talk about all things Gainesville. Sky is a Gainesville, we call you an ACR, correct?
Alachua County resident.
Yes. When I was new to Alachua County, I was very confused by that term, but
I just had to tell you what that meant.
Yes. To let me know. We could talk after the show about what your thoughts are, but I thought that was very peculiar. But there is on our blog an entire list of you're an ACR if. So I would be very curious. Actually, here we go. In the comments, tell me the number one thing you're an ACR if, and we'll read them up later. That does sound like an ACR if they're making offers below asking price. Just kidding. Thank you, Jackie. We love it. And yes, people are asking for closing costs. It's crazy. So, all right. We'll be right back after this break.
My name is Cecile Arce, and I'm an agent here with Rabell Realty Group. While researching local firms, Rabell welcomed me right away and made me feel like I was part of the family before I even joined. I have direct access to both my brokers, as well as an amazing support staff and several tailored marketing resources. Rabell has a very dynamic work environment. It's very welcoming, fun, and you're all constantly learning. Rabell has provided me the confidence to be a dedicated and passionate professional. I would recommend Rabell Realty to anyone looking for top-notch training, ongoing support staff, and a sense of deep camaraderie. I would recommend Rabell Realty Group to a buyer or seller looking for a dedicated professional that has ongoing training and can be accessed at any given time.
All right, welcome back to the Rabell Realty Group podcast with Rebecca Johnson and...
Not Kristen.
Well, this is Sky Mays, one of the realtors helping me out today. So we are going to talk about favorite places in Gainesville. And we kind of made some prompters. Since you've been born and raised here, you ought to have the pulse on what's hip and happening. You're also married to a professor.
I am.
An avid boater.
Yes.
And you guys have kids, or
Yep.
well, you have a daughter, two daughters, right? One's in high school, and one's
just starting 11th grade.
Oh my goodness!
I know. And
how is that possible? You don't look a day over 30.
No, I call her my age-appropriate daughter.
I love it.
She's she'll be 17 here pretty soon.
Oh my goodness! And then your daughter is
10.
10. I keep wanting to say 11, but yes, 10.
10 going on 30.
Oh my gosh, aren't they all? All right, so I pulled a list. Like I said, the unofficial mayor of Gainesville was supposed to be on here telling me his favorite top spots. So best brewery in town. If you And the
They all
reason
have
this
such
came
different
up,
vibes.
they do. And the reason we brought this topic up was because in property management, we have a lot of students moving back. We have new professors coming to town, new residents moving and relocating here. So I was like, what a fun way to kind of kick off this week where everybody's coming back into town and getting ready to go out with talking about where do you go? Because if you're new here, it took me a little while to figure out that you could leave the Southwest if you lived in the Southwest. When I first moved here, I lived in Rockwood.
Well, Gainesville's
and I went to my Publix and went to
their
my
neighborhoods.
Right.
I mean, Gainesville is all about what neighborhood you live in. It's sort of like New York in that way.
Yes.
And what Publix you go to.
Yes. I went to the closest Publix. I had two of them to choose from. But yeah.
So I'd say the Cypress and Grove was probably the most
like that
beautiful one.
Yes.
Like, I think it's really cool. It's got that, old-timey vintage vibe going on. It's a beautiful building, and they've got a great big outside. If you want to have, I feel like First Magnitude is more about having parties and functions.
I think they're so fun over the summer.
Yeah.
They have like movies
Food
on the
trucks,
lawn and food trucks.
Bands. And then Swamp Head, I really liked it when it was kind of in the back and it was like a speakeasy and nobody really knew about it. And then it moved into their other space over by where Alley Cat's Bowling used to be. And it's beautiful as well, but it's just kind of more chill.
I do like Swamp Head. What scares me there is taking the kids because there's a body of water and I worry about alligators because, we're in Florida. But I do like them. If there's no kids, it's more relaxed. Those things can climb a gate.
Yeah, Cypress and Grove and First Magnitude, I think, are the most friendly ones.
Like First Magnitude. To me, that feels like the family-friendly brewery. If you're taking your kid to a bar, and I'm just joking, if you're taking your kid to a brewery, I do think that First Magnitude does have more events. Like they have the Bird Nature Walk that goes through Depot. They have all these different things for that. But Cypress and Grove has my heart with their stone brick walls and just the feel and look of it.
It's real cool.
Now,
and then afternoon. Have you eaten at Afternoon?
Yes, I do like Afternoon. That's off of 10th, kind of near Maine. For those that are not familiar, I think that's a great property. That's almost across the street from Cypress and Grove. I'm giving honorable mention. One of our marketing people, his girlfriend owns it, but Supret is in the downtown area. Still one of my favorites. It's a wine bar. It's not a brewery, but I'm giving them an honorable mention because that's probably one of the most
Civilization used to be.
If you're old Gainesville and you know Civilization. If not, you're looking for Satchels and it's across the street.
She and I used to ride horses together when we were younger.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think that's honorable mention because it's not a brewery, but I couldn't think of enough wine bars to put on there, but I do think that's one of the most beautiful places. Actually, darn, I used it for my
super cool in the fall and it's open sky and really great cheese boards.
So, where do you shop in this town if you're new to town? Best shopping. I know you have a friend that has a place.
Yeah. So I have a friend who is the buyer's manager of Narcissus and Pink Narcissus. That's kind of across the street from Anthropology.
So that's in Butler Plaza.
It's in Butler Plaza, and they have some really cool things. And they have, my favorite is the sale rack in the back. But they do have some amazing things and great jewelry. Right up in front, they have all this really cute Florida jewelry, orange and blue, necklaces of Florida and gators and stuff like that. I really like REI. I'm addicted to that store.
Sounds like you're a Butler Plaza girl. I'm kind of a Butler Plaza person for shopping.
If I'm not on Amazon.
Oh, we're shopping local. No, Sky.
I know.
But for local shopping, I do feel like Butler Plaza probably has more options.
Pinners for shoes too.
Reggae. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. You're right, Angela.
Oh, I did not know Reggae Sunday was going on.
I like that.
Angela, you know all the things.
She's hip and cool.
She is.
I'm not hip and cool anymore. My kid's waving at me. Hi, Sebastian.
No, but okay.
Otherwise, there's lots of boutiques throughout town. You even out in Tioga, all the way out there, you have Down to Earth. But I really think if you're looking for quick shopping, because Butler Plaza has Narcissus, Pink Narcissus,
Agapanthus, Narcissus.
Yes.
Narcissus.
Anthropology.
Narcissus.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to need a drink after this. Just kidding. But you've got Anthropologie, Athleta, and Lily Pulitzer. And then I think it's like Hearth and Heart. You've got lots of like little shopping right there. Then, of course, Sephora. So got to have Sephora. So that would be my thought for that. Best day date location.
Have you ever been out to the Depot past Micanopy? I know it's not in Gainesville, but it's close enough. It's really cool. It's an old. I haven't. When I was a kid, it was. It's an old train station. That's why they call it the Depot, kind of like ours. But it was an antique mall when I was a kid, and they repurposed it. This guy Antonio bought the house right in the middle of it, and he is from Naples, Italy, and he makes the most amazing food. The most amazing gnocchi you've ever had in your life, because it's not potato, it's ricotta cheese.
And then you can go antiquing.
Yeah, and then right next door is the Depot, and that's like a music venue. So you can go.
You're like hitting all the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go hear some really cool music, and it's actually in Marion County. It's not in Alachua County.
But that's still very close.
Yeah, still very close. Another very, very out there place to go is the Yearling.
I had that on my list. She stole my answer. She wouldn't let me talk. I'm just joking. The Yearling was one of mine. Thornbrook, yes, they do have good stuff.
Thornbrook. Let's see.
So mine was, besides the Yearling, because yes, honorable mention to them, was Fourth Avenue Food Park, because they have live music. It's shaded. If you have your, one of your kids dragging along with you for the day, they have play stuff out there. My favorite was they used to have garbage bins, and the kids could get them and roll down the little grassy area. Anyways,
definitely. It's a food park or depot.
What I like about that is that you can, they have live music, but you have different food venues. So if somebody's picky,
you get pizza from Satchel's.
Yeah, they have like the little Satchel Squared. They have Fehrenbachers. They have, everything.
Baker's there, which have Baker. If you haven't been there in the morning,
I have not. Just bring it to the office, please.
The most amazing croissants and what I don't even know.
So
what they're called.
Also like the boxcar. That's actually in our Depot Park. Kids or no kids. I'm like, that's kind of a fun place because I like to be outside.
Heartwood. That whole thing.
Yes.
The Heartwood stage is right. Like everything really super cool is on that Fourth Avenue food park.
Downtown.
Yeah. So, but I have not been to the restaurant there. It's called Bingo, I think it is.
Oh, I have not.
Apparently it's amazing. It's not open for lunch when I went by there. It might be sometime, but like one of the oldest places here in town, one of the first restaurants, it was actually a sushi place called Sushi Matsuri.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with Sushi Matsuri.
Yeah, Sushi Matsuri, like I love Dragonfly too, just for the atmosphere, and they have amazing cocktails. But if you want like good sushi, really good sushi, where they don't skimp on the fish, and the fish is really fresh, and they're not like rolling it all up in rice, go there. And
yes, I have been there. I will attest. It is very good.
Only open on Tuesdays and Thursdays for lunch, but
I know.
Every night for dinner.
I want it. It's like Chick-fil-A. You only want it when it's closed.
It's true.
All right. Top romantic date spots for the area. Oh, Embers. Oh, yeah. I think I was throwing in Embers. So I actually think Sparks. I like Sparks over Embers. Mm-hmm. I feel like Embers, it's too bright in there, and there's like, it's too open. It doesn't feel private.
Centron's a great one because they have a patio. It's better in the winter.
Yeah, it's a little hot to be outside right now. Yes, of course, too. Yay!
And Spurrier's has a really good food.
I tried to go to Spurrier's with a group of friends last week, and it was their 1-year anniversary. None of us knew, and it was too packed, and I got really anxious because there were too many people around. I'm going, and I already blew it, but Supret was one of mine because it's very intimate feeling, and it's outside and very quaint, and you don't feel like you're with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And then y'all will probably be like weirdo, but I really love One Love because they have live music, like romance. Well,
you can let your kids run free.
Romance is different to everybody, but I'm like, take me to get a drink with live music
Hole in
outside.
The wall places.
Hole in the wall is the best, the best, where you're like mostly just people watching, but also spending quality time together.
Yeah, no, I agree. Plus in the winter, like I'm really tired of the heat, so I just want winter to come, but you go there and they have the fire and there's those big chairs all around it, and
that's true.
It's nice.
So I know we'll get hung up on this one. Best day trip locations. You're new to Gainesville. What are the best things to do?
I'm a St. Augustine girl, so I love St. Augustine. I think it's a great place.
Yay!
Have you ever been to the ice plant there?
That's where the whiskey thing is, right?
Yeah, but above it is called the ice plant, and it's
no.
a restaurant that is, you feel like you've been transported back to the 20s. It's a really cool space. No pun intended. It's a really cool space. But
she's got jokes.
It's like 30 feet ceilings, and the bar is like this old timey bar. The whole thing is mirrors and
interesting. No, I've been to the St. Augustine Fish Camp, which I thought had great food. I actually took all the kids there, and it was very chill. But no, I am not a St. Augustine. I'm a Gulf Coast girl. I grew up on the Gulf and over in Indian Rocks.
I think everybody loves where they grew up.
That's true. Well, you know what it is.
Their memories are all tied up there.
The ocean scares me on the east.
Yes, that's why I don't go in it.
There's enormous, I know there's enormous sharks everywhere. Y'all can come for me in the comments. But I follow an app tracker about great white sharks. And they're all.
Why?
Because I'm crazy.
Well, John won't let me watch Jaws anymore. So.
Well, it's really scary. So the water, the noise it makes when you're I'll never forget the first time I went to St. Augustine and you guys have the dunes. We don't. Everything is flat.
Yeah.
So it was very strange to have to go uphill and down. So loud. It was scary to me. I was like, what is that noise? They're like, it's the waves. I was like, what do you mean it's the waves? The Gulf is like glass. It's all still
I used to hate the Gulf when I was little. I felt like it was just like a warm bathtub. But now I appreciate it.
With great big sand dollars and starfish. Now.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't tend to get off the boat because when you get off the boat into the water, things happen usually, unless the water is really, really, really super clear. But, yeah.
If I was fishing, I probably would not get off because you're putting bait in the water, and I don't want to be bait. But no. So, all right. So day trips. We digress. Okay. I definitely feel like Indian Rocks is a little far. It would be a great weekend trip because it's going to probably take you 2 to 3 hours. Cedar Key is worth a trip.
Crystal River. All those places.
Yeah, Crystal River. Homosassa has a great zoo. You can walk around.
Lots of manatees, monkeys.
Great people watching. Oh, yeah, they have the Monkey Island thing. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of fun things to do in those areas. Over on the East Coast, I definitely think St. Augustine is a popular day trip with Gainesville people. Mm-hmm. If you're new to Gainesville, you almost have to go to St. Augustine. It's like a rite of passage.
Well, you have to go to the outlet mall, too. So.
Oh, yeah, they got all those outlet malls. Otherwise, I mean, depending if you're looking for a more active day trip, I would say going up to Blue Springs and paddling down.
Yes.
And doing
the Ishintuckney. We were going down the Ishintuckney last Mother's Day. And we were chilling out, and a manatee just swam right underneath us.
And
going
manatee
really fast.
Season is November, really till March. Although they're around year round, you'll see the bulk of them then.
Yeah.
Somebody is scooting into the studio. Too. You're so funny. All right, so I actually threw this one in because I wanted to know. So I am crazy and I love to move because there are so many parts of Gainesville that I want to experience and live in. So what are your favorite neighborhoods? I know when I first moved to Gainesville and got into real estate, I had 7. I've checked off multiples and I've actually honed in on ones that I actually prefer over the others. But I lived all the way out in High Springs because I thought it was beautiful, wanted to live in that area. I've lived in Hale. I've lived in lots of different places in this area. So scalloping season is only over in some part. You can still scallop in Zone 2, which is Crystal River and Homosassa, and I think a little further south until September. I want to say it's the 20th, but we have a blog all about it.
Right.
And you can check it out on buysellrebell.com.
I don't know. What is your favorite?
So my neighborhoods, don't touch that, Sebastian. Sorry, I took a picture for him. Don't touch. So Hale, Tioga, downtown, Duck Pond area, Suburban Heights area, or Hillcrest. I would go in either one. Let's see. I have
deep love for Briarwood and where I live.
You love that 16th Avenue area.
Mm-hmm. They call that Crepe Myrtle Alley.
Really?
And also Professor Row.
I thought I saw a lot of murders.
Florida Park
Myrtles.
is also a fantastic neighborhood, and that all that,
I've always thought living near UF would be really fun. So I've got
Kirkwood.
A couple on my
Nobody
list.
talks about Kirkwood.
Nothing ever comes up for sale in there.
I know, because it's awesome and it's 1 acre lots.
That's true. So number one neighborhood. I still think you're a 16th Avenue girl, but
I am. I'm mid corridor But John loves the duck pond. I mean, I grew up in the duck pond.
Love all those. I love Florida Park. They have their own like vibe. I love it.
Yeah.
So
he won't live with anywhere without curbs because he's a.
You know what?
I've
lived in places without, and I'm gonna side with John on this one. I'm gonna side with him.
I think it's a Gainesville thing because I went to other places and I was like, they all have curbs. We don't.
I'm being attacked under my chair. Well, I want to we appreciate all the comments and feedback below, and we want to thank Sky Mays with the KNR Rabell Real Estate team for coming on today.
Glad to do it.
And we'll just go right to the credits. Whoops, can you hear me? Here he is. All right. So if you have a property that you are tired of managing or taking care of and you would like to hire us to do it, we at KNR Property Management would be delighted to do so. We'll be your leasing agent, accountant, repairman, inspector, landlord, and help you with the property overall. You can reach us at 352-213-6410. And if you would like to join the Rabell Realty Group team, we would love to have a chat with you, whether you're thinking about getting licensed, newly licensed, or an experienced agent. It is all confidential and
it's a great
no
team.
cost.
Great team.
We love it.
If you want to list your house, call me.
So you can reach us at join@buysellrebell.com or at 352-559-8820. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Did you know that Rabell Realty Group has a blog? We do. You'll actually find the information about scalloping season.
It's actually interesting, too.
Yeah, we have very good articles. We actually had some comments today about homestead exemption that we were able to help some people in Ocala out with. So it is Buy, Sell, Rabell.
You got to pay your taxes pretty soon. November is coming up. You get a discount if you pay them all in November.
That is true. That is true. So we probably should do a blog about that, actually. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. All right. So it's and we'd like to thank the Fiesta Media for putting on this podcast and all of our others. If you're thinking about having your own podcast, you can reach them at 352-327-5089. I know. And thank you for watching the Rabell Realty Group podcast with Sky Mays, Rebecca Johnson, and Sebastian. Tune in Mondays at 2. Bye-bye. Can you wave?
Bye. Wave.
Say bye-bye.